Hi everyone, this is Garrison for Iron Kingdoms of War, coming to you with a weekly update for April 7th, 2010. And just thought I'd give you a little update on what's been arriving this week, what I've been working on. I've kind of slowed down in ordering some miniatures. It's getting silly at this point, to the point where I just don't want to be backlogged with dozens and dozens of miniatures. So I held myself to ordering one figure this week, and that's my Gorton Gunback mercenary warcaster, Rulik warcaster, so I'm pretty excited about him. Alright, so he's going to be in reserve because I got a lot of guys ahead of him. As far as other stuff I picked up this week from the war store, I ordered this Tamiya weathering kit that has nice snow and soot and rust effects on it. Also went to Michael's and picked up more of these sprocket gears, which you might have seen me use in my Warjack Repair Shop video. I'm pretty excited to get those going, integrate those into some projects. And then most of the rest of the stuff I received this week in the mail was just more plastruct stuff for terrain building, more of the angle pieces for corner edges, just some plain sheet styrene, some brick pattern and some more cobblestone pattern. You can never have enough of that. Alright, so and then some paints. Always ordering paints. In fact, that's kind of the theme of my video here for my weekly update is paints. But first, I just thought I'd show you what I'm working on miniatures wise. Can you focus in on my desk here a little bit? Finished Colden Lord. I'm going to be doing a video on him pretty soon, just to talk a little bit about this figure. About halfway through a great set of figures, which is Sam McHorn and the Devil Dogs. Right, so they're awesome figures, and they're coming along. Right, so there's Sam. Right, and so here's another figure. They're about half done, about half painted. But what I really like about that set is that they're all unique, and all the figures, there's no repeats of the poses. Well, while I'm here, this is what I call my archaic ruin fenced stone wall terrain. I'll be doing a whole tutorial on that pretty soon. And I noticed my son has his, he just painted a miniature recently. This is, I can't remember what you call it. It's Crick's Worm. Alright, so this is something that he's been working on recently. Why can I not remember what that's called? He's the Crick's guy, not me. Got this Mariner based and so forth and put together. He needs priming. Alright, so Ashland Delise without arms coming along. So lots of miniatures and lots of different stages ready to go. So I'll be putting some of that stuff up. Putting some of that stuff up pretty soon. What I wanted to do today was just walk you through my paint collection, because one of the great pleasures of this hobby is all the paints I've collected and so forth. I'm going to take my camera off my tripod for a second, so bear with me. Whoa, flipping around. Woo! Okay, all right, anyway. Here's my desk and my paint collection. Let me turn it on. I'll leave that on. All right, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about paints. And you can see I have a wide variety of brands and colors. Too much. It's ridiculous, but I've just become kind of addicted to collecting different paints. Thought I'd talk to you about some of these brands. Alright, first of all, starting with P3, which of course is the Privateer Press's brand of paints for War Machine and Hordes miniatures. It's a great paint line. Loving it. And so I've got a whole bunch of those, and they are great shades. They're a great consistency. The only thing I haven't had a lot of luck with is some of the brass balls and the Rulik gold are coming out a little thin for me. Although the platinums and the pig irons and stuff, I've done better with the metal, the steel colored metals. But other than that, these are just fantastic paints. Loving them. Love the flip top lids. Actually, I think it's the same canister that the foundry paints use, which I'll talk about in just a second. And these are holding up rather nicely, and I really love the shades of paint. And like I said, it's just a high quality paint. I can't say it's my favorite, but I love it. And the reason I can't say it's my favorite, well, it's my favorite paint that's currently in production. My favorite paints of all time are out of production, and that's my good old Ral Partha paints. These things are ancient. Now, literally, some of these are 20 years old. I'm 40. I was painting miniatures in my teens, all right, with these very... I'm not talking about, the same shade. This is a paint pot I used when I was a teenager, and I'm 40 years old. And the paint... Here, I'll prove it. Hang on one second. All right, so the paint is still going strong. Let's look inside. Alright, and so that paint is still is ready to go and still working just fine. So the Real Partha paint, they have the best. I love their metals, and someday when I use all these up, I'm going to be really sad because they've just got great stuff. Let me put that back. So that's my Real Partha paints back there. I've only got about half a dozen. I've got like a copper and a bronze and a steel and an Asian colored flesh is what the color's called. So and a couple blues and so forth. But love my old Real Partha paints. I mean, this is from a store called Campaign Headquarters. You can still see it on there. Last time I shopped there, I was 16 and I'm 40. So this paint is still awesome. I use it on my long gunners and my trencher chain gun crew. So it's going good. So love that old paint. Alright, now you'll notice most of my paints behind my P3 line are Reaper miniature paints. And this is from the, not the Master line, but the Pro line. And these are great paints. I love them. They're in these nice big paint pots, or paint canisters. And so you get a lot of value there. I order them right from the Reaper Miniature website. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of different shades, and I've only got some of the shades. There's even more in this. So you can see how I've kind of organized my palette. Going back through the different brands, I've got like my browns here, getting towards the tans and the flesh, and then I've got my grays and my blacks and my blues and my greens and purples and oranges and yellows all the way down the line. Here's the paints that we shall not mention by name. Like Harry Potter, like Voldemort, like he who shall not be named, or whatever they say. Yeah, that's my Games Workshop crappy paints over there. I don't like the Citadel stuff. I don't know why I ever bought it. When I was a new Warhammer guy, before I moved on to War Machine, I heard such great things about these paints. Not great. Most of them are very glossy, even the colors that aren't supposed to be. They dry up fast for all the great, talk about these neat flip-top lids. They dry up fast. They're not great paints. The P3 stuff is way better. So, yeah, I am a Privateer Press biased guy. will never deny that, but I'm just telling you honestly from someone who's, as you can see, has had paints for 24 years painting miniatures. Those are not great paints. That's why they're exiled to the corner of my desk over there. Anyway, also as far as paints go, you got the Privateer Press, you got the Real Partha, all the Reaper paints. I've got a few Reaper paints from my from the Master Series line. Although honestly, I guess I'm old school. I know with Vallejo and the Reaper Master Series, these are the dropper bottles where you put it on a piece of in a palette or something, and you dip your brush in. I just like going right to the pot. So that's one of the reasons I like the Pro line from Reaper rather than the Master line. And I know they're probably going to phase this out eventually. I don't know, but I still love that line. What else I got here for paints is Howard's Hues. I thought I'd mention that. They make awesome metallics, mostly used by historical wargamers. But here's a really neat bronze and a really nice gunmetal and a nice white. And whites are hard to get thick enough so that it goes on white. They make a nice solid white. These are a little gloppy. Sometimes you got to thin them down, but they're really good value. They're nice big paint pots. Like here's one, compared to a P3, and you can see they're nice and big. Now it is a thick plastic can, but there's still a lot of paint in there. All right, so love the Howard Hues, especially for metallics. Also got some Foundry paints here, and the Foundry paints are a British line of paints. They sell these at the War Store in triads, and so they've got some interesting colors. They're very, very thick. You definitely got to thin them out if you're going to use them, but they have some really interesting shades, and they come in these neat triads with like a base color and a highlight and a darker shade. And so that's pretty much it. I got my P3, I got my Reaper. Here's all my inks, which are mainly Reaper inks and also P3 inks. All right, so this is my ink section or my washes. Got my Foundry, my Real Partha stuff. Then I've got my cheap craft paints for mainly terrain projects. Okay, all spread around here. And so, yeah, that's about it. But, just get a grand idea of the ridiculous amount of paint I have. There's a nice shop for you. So, anyway, it's one of the more fun parts of the hobby, and it allows us to do some interesting things with all those shades. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this weekly update. You'll be seeing some of that stuff I mentioned on the video soon on the blog or on the YouTube channel. And this is Garrison for Iron Kingdoms of War signing off. Happy wargaming, everybody.